Check, check, mic check. What's up, Jay?
Hey, what's up, Risky? Ready to do this?
I'm ready. Everything sounds good. You ready to go?
All right, let's go.
All right. This is Golf Nation, the show that brings you interviews with the best and brightest people in the industry. Join us for a round as we learn about their life, business, and so much more. Golf isn't just about playing the game, it's about connecting with others and getting away from our everyday lives. Now here's your host and the CEO of GolfCritique.com, Jeremy Lee.
Golf Nation, what is up? It's great to be back with you. Today, you're listening to episode 37 of the Golf Nation podcast, which is brought to you by GolfCritique.com, the best search engine in golf. If you have not been to GolfCritique.com, you are missing out because right now, GolfCritique.com has now in the process of connecting more booking engines to their site than any other platform online, which is awesome, Risky. You know why?
Why is that?
Because we don't have any booking fees.
Are you serious?
Zero booking fees. So what's also great is we give more back to the golf courses than any other platform online.
That's the best.
Yeah, it's great. And so what is great about that is when you go and you book through golfcritique.com, no booking fees, you're probably getting a good deal because we're sending you directly to the course's websites. You don't have to go searching around. We feed you right there. You're going to get great information. You get some great instructors as well. But what's great is when you go there and you play at that golf course, you're going to get a great experience. Because if you don't know this, there's other platforms out there that when you get one of those deals out there, that golf course ain't getting no money. It's kind of their payment. And so we're doing a better job. We're trying to give more back to the golf course. There's not a single round that you buy through golfcritique.com that doesn't give money to the golf course, which is going to increase your experience at the course. So if you want the best experience, if you want to see ratings, if you want to see information, if you want to find great instructors, we got great resorts on there, and we have a brand new entertainment site called Golf Hub. Videos, podcasts, blogs. It's all there.
Yep, you name it.
Oh, love it. Golfcritique.com. Check it out. Right now we have a huge giveaway we'll talk about later on the show. But now, today,
let's get into it.
Today, we are going north of the border to the great country of Canada. Our guest today started his career at Seton Golf Club in Ontario, then moved to Glen Golf Club as a GM for the next 16 years before moving to Coppenwood Golf Club as the president and general manager. His career moved through a couple more stops before he entered into his current role as the CEO of the PGA of Canada. Now he's working with 3,600 golf professionals, PGA professionals, across the country, which is now the third largest professional golf association in the world. Please help me welcome PGA professional, Mr. Kevin Thistle. What is up? How are you, Kevin?
That is good. Jeremy, thanks for having me. Thanks, Risky, for having me on today's show, and I really appreciate it. Everything's great.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait to get into all kinds of things. Canada, I love the Canadians. They're always incredibly nice people. And I learned under a Canadian, Mr. Gary Bebelar, in Big Spring Country Club in Louisville, Kentucky. So he comes from the great, or not the state. It's not a state. It's a country there, Jay.
We talked about this yesterday, Jeremy. You can't say, I know you're trying to say the state of being of Canada, but when you say the state of Canada, it just comes off wrong.
I know, the great country of Canada.
Jeremy, you're just trying to take over the country. You know, just make us another state, make us like another Alaska, sort of thing, right?
That's right. You just got to work right in there. I mean, technically, you know, you guys are so big, and, you know, even your states, Ontario what do you call those, provinces?
Yeah, provinces, sure. No worries. Yeah,
provinces, state, it's all the same thing. Well, we can't wait to get into all kinds of things, talking about PGA of Canada, talking about your career, how kind of it's evolved to this, and definitely what's going on up there. I mean, we know that you guys have been dealing with border crossings and all kinds of great things that we're going to get to. But first, let's recap last week's tour stop here in the North Carolina, Greensboro,
correct. Sedgefield.
Oh, Sedgefield. Golly, that's terrible.
Jeez,
wow. 1 week and I've already forgotten the name of the golf course. That's terrible.
They change every week. No worries.
Well, that's because he said he was from Cottonwood, so I kind of, it's a word cross. So, Jim Herman, third PGA career. Kevin, great story with Jim. He was a pro. I think he was a PGA professional for the Trump courses, which many of you know that I talk about all the time. I used to work for Trump. I built his first and second clubs up in New York and New Jersey. And I believe Jim was at the second club, Bedminster Golf Club, that I built. It was actually his third because he had he had International down in Florida in West Palm. But Jim came in. I guess Trump said, "Man, you're way too good of a player to be sitting behind a counter." And he's like, "I'm going to help you get to the tour."
That's amazing, though, because there's so many PGA professionals who can play. They can flat out play. But can they take to that level? Sure. Can they win? It's amazing that, someone's in the pro shop. It's fantastic where you think there's so many great golfers, really are. But to get on the PGA Tour and then to win, that's almost unbelievable. It happens in the senior tour once in a while. But to have someone as that great a player who wasn't playing on some other tour, who was actually working for a golf course, never heard of that, where he comes out of the shop, goes on tour, fantastic, he had the backing, and he's won 3 times. I mean, what a great story that is.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it is amazing. I really think that that's the key right there, is what you just said, the backing. There's a lot of great players out there. But there's not a lot of great players that can go and play the same level of golf at a local club as they can on the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. And so for them to see that, he must have been dropping like low 60s for him to say that.
He had to be, because we've all seen, I'll play with someone, they'll shoot 67 and they'll shoot 68. Their home course, of course, and then 69. And someone will go, "You should be in the PGA Tour." I'm like, not me, but say a friend. I'll go, "You know what? You've got to go." I learned as a young man, you've got to go out and beat everybody in your province and state. Then you got to go out as the amateur and beat everyone in your country, in essence. And then you got to take on the big boys of the PGA Tour. So for him to just come out of the shop like that, I think it's amazing. You're right. He must have been hitting low 60, because we all think that a person who shoots 66 should be on the PGA Tour, but we know that that's nothing when it's on your home course. It's got to be done at the toughest course in the world.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, his weekend was sick. 61, 63. Right. Like, I mean, Sedgefield, yes, they do say it's the most gettable golf course on the PGA Tour. But still, I don't care if it's a 5,000-yard golf course. Right. 61, 63, you got to be putting, you got to be hitting fairways, you got to be hitting greens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even the rough is still rough there. It's one of those things, you got to make the putts. And like you said, I love that analogy. I say all the time, I don't care what the yardage is. Someone goes, "Well, I shot 65, but I played the second up tees." Who cares? Yeah. You're still going to hit the fairway, hit an iron, and you got to get the ball in the hole. That's the key. And that's amazing, 61, 63.
Yeah, that's crazy. Webb Simpson, again, right there, top 5. He just can't get that win. I mean, he had a win way back 11, I think, 2011 or something like that. But that was our pick this week. And he did pretty good. I mean, he was in top 5 like we thought he would be.
Yeah, he's consistent with those placings.
Risky, your boys, not so hot.
I know. My guy Koepka, not doing well. Cut at +2, I think it was.
Yikes.
Justin Rose didn't do well either.
I don't know what's going on, Rose. He was good. I felt like he was trending in the right direction, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm beginning to think that Koepka is one of those guys that he's not going to make a ton of birdies. He's going to grind it out. He's going to be your grinder. He's going to be your guy that when it's 2, 3, 4, 5 under, that's going to win the golf tournament. He's going to kill you every time because he can handle the pressure. He can handle the length. But when it comes to, you got to make 28 birdies, 30 birdies in a round to win the golf tournament. Yeah, I don't think Koepka's going to do that.
Yeah, he's actually built the toughest courses in the world. He's built where you go out there and par's a great score because he hits it long. He's got a great game. But when someone goes out there and shoots, 62, 62, 63, 63, that's not him. And remember, he didn't come up on the PGA Tour. He didn't have an easy go of it because even in the preliminary tours in college, he couldn't shoot those low numbers. But when you got him on a tough track, wow, that guy, and you said a good word there, he can grind it out with the best of them. That's why every major he seems to be there. But when it's a birdie fest, I think he also he gets disinterested when they're playing, not the toughest course in the world. I think it really does.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened at Harding Park. Like Harding Park, it was gettable, and so people were dropping birdies, and he just wasn't gonna stay with them to go like that. But did you win any money?
Yeah, this week I won $17 purely because Webb Simpson placed third. So
I'm still bitter, Kevin. I'm still bitter. I picked Morikawa to win the PGA Championship, and I didn't bet on him.
Oh,
yikes! Yeah. I would have made so much money.
That's amazing.
I know, but it is what it is. Well,
I don't think you're ever gonna get over that.
Technically, I'll say he was my dark horse, but normally people put money on their dark horse, and I would have probably made a little bit of money. But oh well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this week, the Northern Trust.
Yeah, back up in Boston, man.
Yeah, TPC Boston.
Kevin, you ever been to Boston?
I have. Loved Boston. I'm a big hockey guy, so I've seen the Bruins a million times, and the city itself is what a beautiful, fantastic city, world class.
Yeah, I just like.
Well, I'm just gonna jump in right here after you said big hockey guy and then brought up Boston. I'm not gonna let that one slide because they're not doing my Canes very well right now, and I'm not too happy about it.
Yeah, Risky's a pretty big hockey guy. In Raleigh where he lives that's pretty much the only professional sport.
Yeah.
And so, man, those Raleigh people, and they're all transplants from Boston. There's so many New Englanders.
I mean, yeah, there's a few, but I'd like to say a majority of it is born and raised North Carolinians.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe that's just because I want to say that. I don't know.
Well, this week at the Northern Trust, I think they're going to have a little bit tougher test. I think they're going to tighten in those fairways again. They're going to bring in that rough a little bit heavier. You're going to be in cool season grasses again, which is going to be a big change from this week. They played Bermuda this week. Right. So, that's going to be tough. I would think that going from week to week, when you're transitioning from Bermuda, and then you got to get, they're changing wedges out, and they're doing everything they possibly can. It's not like us where we're going to take our same clubs, and go, no, they're flipping wedges, they're changing grinds. It's all crazy when they move it. But it's crazy that we're saying 7,200 yards is not that far on the PGA Tour now, but it's really not that long. But it is par 71, so I guess that would be equal to what, 74?
Yeah, but even then, I mean, you've got some par 70s out there where they're playing at 72, 73. You've got some par 72s where they're playing at 7,600 sort of thing. So I think 72 for these guys, it's you know what, it's a tighter golf course, it's a tougher golf course, which is great, but still for the PGA Tour, 7,200 is not that long. Like look at last weekend, par 4 is 520 yards. They're hitting mid irons in, no problem. It's simple. They're driving it so far these days.
I know, it's crazy. But only 64 bunkers on the entire golf course. That seems really low. Especially for it's a redesign by Gil Hanse. And that's even more shocking.
Yeah.
Because he loves him some sand.
Yes.
So, yeah, I haven't played TPC Boston. I lived in New York for a long time, but I never really had the chance to go up to Boston, just working all the time, building golf courses. But if you're in the golf course construction business, you pretty much live at the golf course. Dark to dark.
You're not leaving the site.
Well, Patrick Reed won. But he won at Liberty National because last year it was at Liberty National, right?
Correct.
So I don't know the field. I don't know.
That was his second Northern Trust win though last year.
Well, what's your thoughts on Patrick Reed?
I think he's a crazy man. I think that I can't believe the antics. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be at Augusta, when he won, and the way the family interacts, the way he interacts with his wife, I just think that it's too bad because he's a great story, but there's just so much baggage, and unfortunately, there's just too many naysayers and too many people ready to knock him down. I don't want to knock him down, seriously. Everyone walk a mile in everyone's shoes. I say that all the time, but man, can't he just get along with people? Come on, just get along. You're making millions and gazillions of dollars. Just get along with your family and get along with your fellow competitors. That's all I say. I can't figure the guy out.
No, I agree there. It's, to be in his position, top 10 in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the things that drive me nuts is just the little things. Like him brushing that sand back and then acting like he had no idea what we were talking about. I mean, it was pretty obvious that, he knew exactly what, But I mean, if you look at stories from him all the way back to college, I mean, people are like writing books about this cat. I mean, I don't know. I think, you are what you learn. Maybe none of us really know his childhood. Maybe his childhood was a little different than most. And, I don't think he has a good relationship with his family. That's too bad. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's really too bad. So, who are we going to pick for the winner this week?
I've been trying to think about that for the last 2 days. I can't decide.
So 7,200. It's going to be a little. Have you played TPC Boston?
I have not. I've been there, but never played there. Looks fantastic though. It's great.
We'll see. 7,200. That's going to bring a lot more people into the game. Kevin Kisner's going to win. Ooh, Kisner. I don't know. Kisner hasn't been around, but he's one of those guys that just hits it straight, gets it down the middle, puts it on the green, makes the putt. Is Poulter playing this week? I wonder if Poulter's playing. I hadn't seen Poulter in a while.
I think you got to throw the Canadian in there, Adam Hadwin. One of the Canadians anyway. You got to throw them in for your dark horse. Adam Hadwin's going to win.
Oh, I got a little connection with Adam Hadwin. He went to University of Louisville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he played at Big Spring a lot when he was there. And I didn't realize he was that good. I mean, geez, that kid can play too.
It's so funny. He played on our Canadian tour, which is now the Mackenzie Tour. It's actually PGA Tour Canada, and it's amazing. He was not talked about in the same ilk as a lot of players, and all of a sudden he's starting to play in the events. And he played and won the RBC Canadian Open, which is our national championship PGA Tour, and he did really well. And you're like, oh, this kid's pretty good. Then the next year he went out and won some more, and all of a sudden he made the PGA Tour and never looked back. It's like the Mike Weir. Mike Weir, a lot of these guys are late bloomers, right? But he's a great player. Adam Hadwin could just flat out play, so good for him.
Well, I think it's more impressive because you guys have 6-month season. I mean, when you guys got players that can play that good on a 6-month season, now granted they maybe went to Florida or something like that, in the winter time, but still, that's pretty impressive.
I think I'd like to see him.
We'll get like 7 months in, and Hadwin's a BC boy, so they can in essence play year round out there in BC, but still it's not perfect weather.
A little microclimate.
I'll get down to university, so that helps them.
Oh yeah, I forgot BC has that little microclimate. Mm-hmm. That's
right. Yeah.
Is it rain like Seattle does?
Yeah, exactly.
Oof.
Yes, I mean they can in essence play year round, but man, there's a lot of rain in the winter. There's a lot of rain.
Note to self: when it's a rainy week, Hadwin's probably a good pick.
Yeah, good point.
Right. I think I'd like to see Matt Wolff win this week.
Dude, how about Matt Wolff I guess out at Harding Park, a lot of people really kind of had a lot of those younger California kids thinking that they were going to win. But Matt Wolff has been very impressive, and even his teacher, George Gankis, has always said, listen, you better watch out for this kid. He's got a quirky swing, but man, can he hit the ball. He is consistent. But look at Jim Furyk. Jim Furyk had the most recent quirky swing that I could think of, and he has the best I don't think it's the dispersion rate. He has the best numbers coming into the ball. I'm losing my track of mind on what that's called, but
smash factor.
No, not smash. It's just he's just the most consistent coming into the ball every single time.
Like one of the best ball strikers for sure.
Ball striker, yeah, it's phenomenal. So it's going to be interesting. I think Matt Wolff is here to stay. Great pick this week. He's from California. He's a Bermuda boy. I don't think he's going to do as well. I think we're going into cool season. That's going to take a little bit to get used to, especially if you've been playing Bermuda your whole life. I'm trying to think, who would I pick this week? A cool season guy.
I should have had the Jeopardy theme song loaded up so I could play it while you think.
Yeah, I know. I actually think Rosie will kind of have a comeback this week because he's from England. He's used to cool weather. He's used to cool season grasses. I think he'll play a lot better this week than he did last year. Than he did this week. So I'm going to take a crazy stump in the dark, and I'm going to say Justin Rose.
Oh.
Which might be a little crazy pick, but I think he wants some redemption. I think last week kind of ticked him off a little bit, so I think he's going to work hard to try to get his game where it needs to be. So, any picks for you this week?
Gonna be.
You picked Kevin, or you picked Kisner, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll get Kisner and Hadwin. Yeah.
Kisner and Hadwin. That's good. That's good. I like those picks. It'll be interesting to see who goes low.
Yeah.
Well, let's, man, I want to jump into all things Canada. I want to learn all about you. We've known each other, I don't know, what, a couple months now?
For sure, yeah. I've been dealing with Terry for, well, almost going on a year per se, like 8 months, 9 months. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, great stuff. Terry is our Canadian rep for golfcritique.com, and he put us in contact with you. And let's get into your history. What brought you into the game? How'd you learn the game?
It's funny because growing up, all we did was play hockey and baseball sort of thing. Golf was not the sport sort of in, I guess, my neighborhood or in my school kind of thing. And my dad played once or twice a year with the, his company tournament or something. And I would hit his clubs around the back. But then right across the street from me was a great friend of mine, Dougie Reed, and his dad. His dad was a huge golfer. So I'd go out with my dad, I'd go out with his dad. And all of a sudden, it was one of those things where we found a golf course, Seton Golf Club. It was $100 for a junior membership. And we're like, hey, let's join. And we probably played about 150 rounds. So the cost per round was pretty good,
Sure.
And then
Definitely
15, I think it was 15 at the time. And then halfway through the season, Clayton Carey, who's my mentor, asked me, I was at the course, like most kids. I was at the course all day, playing all day, hanging around the pro shop, hanging around the club. And he asked if I want a job, just gassing carts, cleaning washrooms, that kind of stuff. So that's what happened. I started Seton Golf Club when I was about 15 years old and never looked back, love it. And in essence, it's funny because I've always loved the golf business. I went to university to be a CA. I love numbers. I love business and financials. And then, lo and behold, during university, I actually became a professional golfer. I turned pro. I didn't think I was going to be doing that. I thought I was going to university to do something else, but it was great. It was a decision I don't regret. And I just, I'm blessed that I get to work in this fantastic business. Every day we wake up and we gotta, thank our lucky stars that we're in the golf business. It's such a fantastic business.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been something pretty important in my life, for sure.
Right. Is Seton Golf Club still there?
You know what? It's now 9 holes. Like any golf course in the GTA, not any golf course, but a lot of courses in the GTA, the land becomes so valuable. Like, I can tell stories where, like when I was in Angus Glen, we'd buy land for $50,000 an acre, say, just, back in the day. And now land is going for $2 million an acre in the greater, and that's probably low actually, $2 million an acre in the greater Toronto area. So golf courses, and a lot of them cannot be developed because of wetlands, etc., or whatever. But golf courses that can never sell 9 holes off their land, whatever, that's where they're gonna make their retirement sort of thing. Especially the mom and pop operations that have a nice 18-hole golf course, and all of a sudden the city comes, and Seton's 9 holes now, but still a fun, great little municipal 9. So it's fun.
I love those munis.
Yeah.
Little munis, little 9-holers. We were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
I grew up on a 9-hole golf course. I love it. Just a cool little quaint community. You usually just have, everybody just going out there and trying to shoot low scores and have a good time. It's never anything, I don't know, there's just something different about 9-holers. I don't know what it is. Well, let's talk about kind of what's happening in the world of Canadian golf. I heard some crazy stat that in 7-month season, you guys do more golf than a lot of places in the U.S. do in 12-month seasons.
Yes, for sure. We are like most of the courses, let's say Ontario, where I live, Ontario, they open, some courses can open in March, but usually it's mid-April, you're going to say. The smaller courses, the 9 holes of municipals will try to get open April 1st, and we can go right through November. Even at Angus Glen, which is a high-end public I was at, we opened in December one year. So you can get some good weather, but it's amazing how in Canada, they just love golf. They, even especially out west, I was out west building a course with Phil Mickelson there, Mickelson National. And it's amazing how they just love golf. Like from, when I was a Seton as a young man, June 21st, but the sun comes up at 5:41, people would be on the first tee 5:41, and they'd be going all day. It is really amazing. And I think the stat is that we have more rounds per capita in Canada than any country in the world, sort of thing. And I think there's little hotbeds, like San Diego's a hotbed, Chicago's a hotbed, Toronto's a bit of a hotbed too, where it's just golf nonstop. So yeah, it's a crazy stat thinking that everyone would think, oh no, the United States, Texas must be, or Pinehurst must have the most rounds, but no, Canadians love their golf, and that's and we're lucky. The golf business is booming up in Canada. So.
Yeah, I think golf business is booming everywhere. I don't think COVID's going to be a distant memory for the golf industry. I don't think there's going to be a single club to lose money this year.
I agree. It's fantastic. And, and you said about golf around the world too. I talk to the CEOs of, the PGAs all the time, PGA of America, South Africa, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, just a lot of great friends. And they're all saying the same thing. It's almost the same story with the cultural mix. It's amazing for the golf business. And I think a lot of us are saying that, when it first happened, the COVID effect, we went, when people go back to work, but you know what? There's no slowing in sight in Canada anyways, and hopefully all the world, that all the, the younger people who've taken it up, the people who've come back to the game, they bought clubs, they've traded up for new clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And quickly, I'll give you a little status. For about 25 years, I've been playing slow pitch with the same group of guys. Some guys go out, some come in, kids, some of the fathers retire and the son takes their spot. And we play in a very elite house league slow pitch. I know it's house league, but very elite league we play. And it's funny that, so this year we couldn't play the start of the year. And I just said, hey, there's Jeremy, like you said, 5 minutes from my house and 5 minutes from the ball diamond is 9-hole golf course, Markham Green. It just happens that my brother-in-law is a pro there. But I said, why don't we play 9 holes on Tuesdays instead of baseball? First night, raining, get 8 people. Second night, we get 20 people. Every single Tuesday, we get 20 golfers now, meaning these are baseball players.
That's
Half
awesome.
them wouldn't play 1 or 2 rounds a year, and now they're buying clubs. We can go back and play baseball this week or next week if we can under COVID rules. And they're like, no, we're not playing baseball. We're going to play golf for the rest of the season. So You've got probably on my team 10 players who played 2 or 3 times last year, who are going to play 15 times this year, and are buying equipment, buying greens feed, buying hot dogs. So, and those are guys who are loving it. And I know that next year they're going to, if they buy clubs, they're not giving up the game. Or if they buy memberships,
right,
they're not giving up the game. So I think there'll be that springboard effect going forward. Like you said, Jeremy, COVID will be in the rearview mirror, but golf will still be hopefully keeping on this trajectory.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just nice to see people want to get out. I mean, obviously it was for different reasons this time because they couldn't really do anything else because everything was shut down. Mm-hmm. But man, we got to count on our lucky stars in the golf industry. I mean, this was one of the best things that we could have done. Yes, we were trending in the right direction, but we are now booming in the right direction. And so it's going to be nice to see.
Yeah, very nice to see because, and you feel bad because, your friends who are, let's say, in the tennis industry, or it doesn't matter. I don't care if they were in the football or the baseball, just everything stopped. And because we could social distance, we got lucky, right? Yeah. But then people who came to the game said, you know what? I love the game. I've fallen back in love, or I've just picked it up as a beginner. And any manufacturer you talk to, all their billionaire clubs are gone, or were gone probably by what? In Canada anyways, by May, June, they're all gone. So.
And I'm sure that the manufacturers cannot keep up with demand because they can't get people to work because they can't get people in the factories. Mm-hmm. So it's a good problem to have. You got orders out the wazoo. I did see, it was funny. I follow PXG sometimes, and sometimes they'll throw stuff out. And then there was this one guy that got on there and he's like, I ordered my clubs 14 days ago and I have not got them yet. I'm like, dude, seriously?
14 days.
Like, seriously, it takes 14 days just to get through the mail system now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the delivery couple weeks.
Oh my gosh. You know how it is when you buy those high-end clubs, expectations much higher.
Yeah, you want them the next day.
Oh, so funny. Well, how is the state of, I keep saying state, but I meant the state of Canada golf. Golf courses, before COVID, were you losing golf courses like the US, or are you guys so golf crazy that you were still building golf courses, you were still growing?
No, we were losing courses. And I think what happened is it's like the States. I'm going to say in, sort of late 90s, mid-late 90s, early 2000s, there was an overbuild, right? So, been in the business all my life, the business of golf, and people would say, well, golf is declining. I say, no, golf's not declining. We have the numbers. We do an economic study every 2 years, right? And let's say when I was a younger man, let's say 20 years ago, and there was, 25 years ago, let's say there was 10 golf courses in your area and there was 10 golfers. Got it? Enough golf courses, a good mix. And all of a sudden, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, 10 years later, there's 20 golf courses in that same area. It's amazing, as you would know in the States too. But there's still 10 golfers. Maybe there's 11 golfers. So the number of golfers have not gone down.
Sure.
The number of rounds hasn't gone down. It's just the overbuild. So we all got caught up in that, vanity buy. Everyone was building golf courses, and now they had to go to the discount route to get people to play their golf course over the one down the street, sort of thing. So we were seeing golf courses become housing. We were seeing golf courses in a little bit of trouble. I'm not saying big trouble, but a little bit of trouble. And that was probably for the 10 years preceding COVID. And all of a sudden this year, Jeremy, like you said, there's probably not a golf course going to lose money. And it's a great shot in their arm. And hopefully this continues, because we were the same as the States. Seriously, a lot of golfers up here, sure. But still, we had so many golf courses built that all of them couldn't be profitable. The good operators will always be profitable, but it's always that mid course that you feel bad about, because people, there's real people owning these golf courses. And you want to make sure that they, can make a living.
Well, and that's the good thing too, for even the small mom and pops, that, there's just so much golf happening right now that they've even profited, and they're even in the best place they've ever been. So hopefully they're going to take that money and reinvest and make their facilities better, which may bring more people to the golf course. But, you talked about your career in golf. Talk about how that really influenced you in your new role, how, what you learned or what you took from, how did it prepare you for being the CEO of PGA of Canada?
Yeah, Jeremy, I think that's a great question, because as a young man, at Seton Golf Club, seriously, like I went to the University of CA and I came out and I was making $3 an hour. I was making $16,000 a year, and I said, hey, I can be a golf pro making $16,000 a year, or I can be a CA. I think they make more money. I'm not quite sure, but you never know, right? So I know what it was like when I was a young person to have a hard time having the money to pay your dues. Like our dues are about $1,000, say, up here, right? For just average for to be a PGA professional, and to pay for your education seminars, to pay for your tournaments, these kind of things. And I was always on the board in Ontario, where I live, the province I live in. The assistants board. I was, like the captain, the president. I was always, I was on the PGA of Ontario board for a while. And then I was on the national board, like, as the Ontario representative. And I was blessed even when I went to Alberta to be the Alberta representative. So I knew a lot about the inner workings of PGA Canada, et cetera, et cetera. And, I've been a general manager. I've been a president. I've been, vice president. I've run businesses. I've built courses. I've operated courses. So, but to me, I'm a golf pro. Everyone who knows me, I was in a Young Presidents Organization, which is YPO, people have heard about, but I'm still a golf pro. So when I got this position, I came at it that I was working for my friends, not that I'm working for my friends or my brethren, like, wow, I can take 3 days off right now because they're my friends. No, not that. What I was thinking was, every decision I make, I want to make the right decision, because I'm working for my friends and my brethren, sort of thing. And I think that all the things I learned as a young pro, as a successful pro, as an older pro, I think I bring those to the workplace, where, I can feel their pain, or if they have an issue with a tournament, or if they have an issue with education or payments or our member assistance program, if they're having a hard time, I can feel their pain, because I lived through it. I know what they're going through. So I really think that I love this job. It's, in essence, my dream job, because, like I said, I'm a career golf professional, and I like nothing better than customer service. So I love, in essence, now being able to service our golf professionals.
Brisky, how would you like to make $3 an hour?
It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure that's equivalent. I don't know how inflation.
Kev, you're showing your age a little bit there, buddy.
Yeah. But Stephen, it's good. It's equivalent to $5 an hour now. So if you want to make $5.
Okay, yeah. So still shitty.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny. Well, let's talk about plans for the future. I mean, obviously, you're in a pretty good position now, And, you know, like you said, working for friends is not always the easiest. You know, you have a little bit more pressure. It's almost, you rather work for somebody you have they don't know you, they don't know you. How has that been, you know, where you're taking this lead role overseeing all of these all of these golf professionals who, you know, I would say a majority of them knew you personally.
Right. And that's the thing and you're right. And it's tough to work for your friends. I say my friends because, you know, maybe the younger professional I don't know, but I go coast to coast a lot. I've always, even in my other roles, I traveled a lot. I attended all the buying shows, all the seminars. So I got to know thousands of golf professionals. So I felt, you know, that we were great acquaintances, at worst, if not good friends. And I don't take it lightly. I think from my track record in the golf business, they've known me, they've seen me. You know, I was blessed enough to host like LPGA events, Skins Games, 2 RBC Canadian Opens, our national championships. And just the way I run my businesses or the way I treat people, they know that, you know, I was going to get into the job and work. I'm not one of those persons who takes a lot of days off. I just want to make sure that everything we touch is successful. So, you know, they give you a little bit of rope when you first start, but then after, they're looking for some results. So I think that, you know, the team we have, the PGA Canada, I'm blessed. They're the best group of people I've probably worked with, you know, and I've worked with some great people, but I'm not saying that they're any better, but they're as good as other groups I've worked with. And we're accomplishing a lot of good things. And that's what it is. As long as they see that you're working for them. And that was my main goal. You know, it wasn't about personal gain. It wasn't about gain financially. It's about what can we do for the member and what's best for the member. So every decision we make, like we go through every expense item and every revenue item line by line to say, what can we do better? What services can we provide for the member without charging them anymore? And I've been there almost 3 years now. And for the 3rd year in a row, we have not raised the national dues. That's one thing I'm very proud of.
Yeah,
that
for
in
sure.
essence, a professional is paying actually less in national, not dues, it's insurance, I mean, combined, in their national payment than they did 3 years ago. So that's one thing we've been working very hard to make sure that we're functioning as a business. And that's what I think they see, that we've revamped our education system. And there's a couple of new things coming down the pipe that are so exciting that they see that we have their best interests, and that's what it is. I work for them. I work for the 3,600 members. I better be producing for their best interest.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, I'm trying to decide how to say this. I think when I grew up, the golf professional was like the job to have. You were schmoozing with the best people. It was the most influential people you made good money. Have you felt like we've kind of went for a little while, and maybe it's because of the, you know, like you said, there were so many golf courses being built, so we had to cut funds somewhere. Do you feel like there's a little bit of pressure on you from your fellow PGA professionals? Like, listen, my salary is going down. I'm working more hours. Like, what are we doing as an association to help? And do you think that that's affecting the participation within the association itself?
Oh, 100%. I mean, Jerry, when I was interviewing for the job, I had said to the committee, I said, look, my big thing is bringing the PGA professional back to relevance. When I was a young man playing, I would go into, you know, we had this golf course called Thunderbird, now Royal Ashburn, Wilson Patterson, you know, revered as a golf pro. I'd go in, oh, I hope I get to see Mr. Patterson today. Or would go to Whitefield, I hope I get to see Mr. Ron Morris today. Like, the golf pro, as you said, was revered. And I'm not saying they're not revered now, but we have to bring them back to relevance. Too many times I'll find my friends or myself or someone, they're the head professional director of golf, and I'm walking in a pro shop to say hi or talk about a wedge or talk about, you know, the new driver. And they're in their back office doing accounting, which they've got to do, or administration work. And we got to get out. We got to be the face of golf. And that's when I said, we've got to bring ourselves back to relevance, because, you know, I want every golfer to be looking and saying, oh, where's the golf pro? I hope I get to say hi. Maybe I can talk to him about a little golf or something. And that's what happened, like you said, when we were growing up. You know, the head professional was he knew all the members, he knew their families, the members knew the golf professional, and it was such a great relationship. And you're right, there has been a strain on the wages. There has been a strain on keeping the better jobs. You know, maybe 30 years ago, you owned the pro shop. Now, not many people in the pro shop.
Right.
You know, 30 years ago, 25 years, some of them own the carts. Not very many own the carts now. So we're looking at that. We can still make a living in the industry. And what we've done at the PGA Canada, we've worked with the National Golf Course Owners Association. I think it's the first time in our history we actually got into the boardroom to present why would we hire a PGA professional. We want to show you what our education system is. We revamped our education system about 3 years ago. It's fantastic. Like, we go back and forth to PGA of America all the time, PGA Great Britain, all around the world. We have a fantastic education system. So we're trying to show the ownership groups that, hey, when you hire a professional, you're getting more than just someone who wears nice clothes and can maybe shoot a good score once in a while. You're getting a business person. And we've, about 4 months ago, we hired our very first full-time employee. All he does is work on employment. He works with our provinces. We have them zones. I think in the States you have chapters. You have PGA chapters.
Right.
We have PGA zones. So our employment staff person, Jeff Fry, great person, very knowledgeable. He works with all the zones in helping them get the information out. We're putting out, we're putting out pamphlets. We're putting out information to arm the professional and also to arm the owners. Especially when they want to put a job description. We're working with them to make sure we got this from Great Britain and Ireland. It's called the right fit. It's like, you're a 9-hole golf course that wants to teach junior lessons. Well, you might not want the head professional from, let's say Wingfoot, to get that job. But if Wingfoot came open, you want a different pro than maybe a 21-year-old assistant sort of thing.
Right.
So you got to fit the golf course with the pro, and that's what we're trying to do.
No, I love that. And I think that that's been a big problem for us as PGA professionals, is that we've kind of felt like, man, I mean, we don't make the money we used to. They're asking us to work more hours. They're asking us to do more duties. We're trying to do 18 different jobs instead of being the face of the club,
right.
Being the person that's, I've said for a long time, you want to get members to the club, introduce them to the head pro. If they like the head pro, they're going to come back. They're going to join that club, because there's just something different about the leader on the golf side that's so, the character, the charisma. If you have some good social skills as a PGA professional, Kevin, I can't tell you how many pro shops that I've went into that I felt like I was talking to the assistant, that it was just the guy behind the counter. And I think I think you're exactly right. I think we got to get away from that again. Like, the guy who is leading that team needs to be the guy who's not afraid to talk to people, not afraid to interact, go out and play golf, go out and give a lesson. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me that it's become a job that they want you to stand behind a computer and check in people all day. Like that, that it makes no sense.
Yeah, I really think the pro and it's funny. I talked about this with someone else in yesterday in Canada, and it's like, before the head professional, they'd go to the drive range, give you the odd tip, give you the odd lesson, and then they give you a lesson, of course. They would play with the members. They would, not socialize with the members off site. Sure, that happens once in a while, but I mean, when they're on the property, they're the face of golf. They're saying hi to you on the range. Hi, Mrs. Smith. They're seeing you on the golf course. They're playing within the golf course. It's a great atmosphere. They can't live without the golf pro. There's legendary golf pros in your area, and legendary golf pros that I know of in the States too, who do it so well. They're the face of their club. They work so hard, but they're doing the right things. They're forward facing. They're out there saying hi. They're out there with the juniors. They're out there with the seniors. They're out there with Ladies' Day. Everything. They're doing everything proper, instead of, like you said, 50% of your time being in the office doing the administrative work. That's not what. I love what you said. A little charisma will go a long way.
Oh, absolutely. I think it just makes a huge difference, and I think owners should recognize that too, because I mean, you get a good guy that can speak well and talk well, you're going to get memberships. You're going to get people wanting to come back, because it's a great atmosphere. It's all about the experience. And if you walk in and they're like a grumpy old guy behind the counter, how much today? $30, please. It just sets a wrong tone, and people are like, man, I'm going to go down the road. And then that golf course starts to get hurt. So I definitely think it's worth the investment. It's not all about punching the keys and checking people in. It's about welcoming them to the facility, show them around, teaching them how to play the game better. It drives me crazy how some people don't think that lessons make a huge difference in how many people play the game.
Yeah. And see, to me, and that's what everywhere I've ever been, and that's what I'm known for. And, people have worked with me and they've gone into very nice jobs themselves. It's about the service. I said, it's about service. Just service the heck out of them. And to jump on your point, I love your point. It's like, if a person is beginning at a golf club, I don't care if it's a public golf course or private club, and they're not playing well, they're not enjoying the game. A lesson, if you play the game and you play it better, you love the game more. So the better you get, the more you're going to love the game. You don't have to be a 6 handicap, but if you start as a 36 handicap and you can get down to 23 and you can start whittling away there, you're going to enjoy the game a lot more. So that's one thing in Canada, and I'm not saying the States, we're like somewhere like Great Britain, right? Every golf course has like the pro, and the pro is mostly a teaching or coaching pro. They're on the, so everyone who plays the game starts with lessons, where in Canada, a lot of us go, hey, like my baseball guys, hey, there's 10 of us, you really don't play much, let's just go play. Instead of getting lessons and learning to enjoy the game, we just go out there, and if someone's going to shoot 120, 130 every day, they'll give it up.
Yeah.
So good point you make.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just to kind of close this thing out, golfcritique.com is the exact same way. We believe that people who take more lessons play more golf. People who play more golf take more golf trips, and everybody wants to be entertained. And that's really the basis of the site. Is I would be confident today to say we have the best instructor directory anywhere on the web, where if you want to get lessons, I think there's so much intimidation factor for a new golfer that wants to be better, that they're intimidated by this guy who's 30 years experience and he's played in 10 opens and man, he would never want to talk to me. But I promise you, you guys need to go to golfcritique.com, check out our instructors. I think 95% of them are PGA professionals. Mm-hmm. If they're a PGA professional, it shows them as a PGA professional with the crest. And make sure I'm a PGA professional. We're a huge believer in PGA professionals and what the associations are doing. Kevin's doing a great job running PGA of Canada. We're looking forward to getting more instructors up in Canada. But always remember that you just can simply go to our site, book around at any semi-public, private resort, semi-public or semi-private, there we go, public or resort that has booking available on their website. It's simple. Just go click book now. If there's not a book now button, automatically that there's not an option for that. And you just simply hit call, and it'll call the golf course right from your phone to book the tee time.
I think you kind of gloss over the fact of how easy it actually is sometimes. Right. You say like, oh, it's simple. You go there, bang, bang. But it's literally like less than 5 clicks. You can have a round booked.
Round booked right there. Right with the golf course.
Or instruction for that matter. Like, or it's so trip. Easy. And it like the pages, like they look so clean. It's so easy to read. Doesn't look like some of these other sites that are just boring, have a bunch of ads all over them. Like, there's none of that.
No, I agree.
Easy, straight to the point, beautiful. Yeah. Everybody should go check it out.
Absolutely.
And guys, I'll jump in because it's you didn't ask me to say this. I'm not on for this. And seriously, when I was dealing with Terry Moscosi, I went on your sites, and I was always thinking from the golf course standpoint. And I love what you're doing with the golf course standpoint. You book, you get the golf course gets paid. They may give you a return, a discount or something. Come back next 7 days, whatever. But then when I got the instructor, I went, wow, that's really brilliant. Like you just said, Jeremy, it's Stephen also. It's so easy to book your lesson because people are afraid. Do I walk over the golf course? Do I ask? But you can go online, and there's such a great directory. And that's one thing that I was, and I'll say to you, you're doing a fantastic job with the golf courses. And I knew it was about the golf courses, but the instructors blew me away how easy it is to get a lesson in your area from someone, and top-notch instructors too. So good for you guys.
Well, thank you very much. And just like you say you work for the members, something about us is we like to treat the partner, which is a golf course or instructor or a resort, as our customer. Because we know that if we treat them like a customer and we treat them the way that it should be done and the way that it should be sold, then golfers are going to benefit. And that's the huge point of our business. We are all about growing this industry. And we are so excited about the future and how fast that we're growing. And like I said, kudos to you guys, what you guys are doing up in Canada. I love that you guys have grown the game to where people at 5 a.m. can't wait to get that tee time.
That's amazing.
So sick. That's such a great job. Well, Kevin, man, that's all we got time for today. I just wanted to thank you. Any final remarks about maybe somebody who wants to become a PGA professional, or is thinking about, hey, I'm good enough to be a pro, maybe not a tour pro, but I would love to run a club just like you did?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pretty simple. We've got a brand new website, PGA of Canada.com. Pretty simple. But the neat thing is you can go on there and it says how to become a pro, and it's a lot easier than when I was a young guy. When I was a young guy, you had to have 2 people write you a letter, this sort of thing. If you're thinking of it, it's nice to talk to your host professional about it. But you can go online. Darcy Kroll's our membership guy, and believe me, you can go on our website. You can find all about it. It's pretty simple. I mean, sure, there's a playing ability test, and there's also some education and stuff. But it's like anything else. I mean, it's worth it. It's fantastic, and we're always looking for great young men and ladies all over Canada. So it's good. Thanks for the plug there, Jeremy. But if anyone has a question, they can even contact me directly. So it's great.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's great stuff.
Awesome.
Well, yeah. I wanted to ask one more question. Have you been working with the government about the borders? Is the border going to start opening up soon?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, we do a lot as we call it NAGA, all the Allied Golf Associations. So we work as a close-knit group. The owners, the supers, the Golf Canada, and the general managers, etc. And you know what? They're pretty tight-lipped. I don't. It's gonna open, but I don't think it's opening. The next 2, 3, 4 weeks, sort of thing. There's still a lot of debate. It's all about. I think any border we open or anywhere we go, it's how many cases of COVID there are, but the whole world's doing a better job of containing it. So hopefully we can get it to the point where it's almost mitigated. We get the vaccine going, and then all the borders around the world are open again. So we're hoping for that.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed that this world gets back to normal.
Absolutely. Love to see it. Well, Golf Nation, that is all the time we have today. Unfortunately, wish we could keep going.
Yeah, great talk today. I loved it.
But make sure you check out the show on Golf Hub. If you're not watching it there right now, you definitely should be. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram as @GolfNationPodcast, and on Facebook and Twitter as @GolfNationPod. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions for the show, or Jeremy or myself, send us a DM on social media or send us an email at info@golfcritique.com, and it'll go straight to me. That's all I got for him, Jay.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We are going to be back next week with another great episode of the Golf Nation podcast. But until then, learn as much as you can, live your life to the fullest, play golf forever. I'm Jeremy Lee. For Risky and for Kevin, we'll see you on the tee.